I'm a 16-year-old artist who's been drawing every single day for 3 years straight. To make a storyboard, you need an idea. This much is obvious. This can come from an OC, or a story idea, or something you saw in a movie that you'd like to remaster. It could come from anything. I got my idea from a Discord call. For me and my friend Gavin, I was playing a game called Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. You take selected units and make them fight each other. It's a pretty simple concept. In this simulator, we were watching 200 American soldiers, which, strong American soldiers versus 4,000 Spartans. It was a one-sided slaughter. Every 500 Spartans, mind you, Spartans, died. 3 or 5 American soldiers died. This spawned the idea in my head. I should draw this. Now, normally, you should write down your ideas. Write down the story before you draw it. You should know what's gonna happen ahead of time before you start putting anything to paper. I didn't do this. At the time, it wasn't a big deal. I just wanted to doodle. And doodle I did. Pages 1 through 5 were sketches. I drew at home while sipping my energy drink, In terms of drawing and storyboarding, they're pretty good. They allocate a lot of space for the drawings. But there are some issues. When I was drawing these, I was focusing more on having a good time, making a good drawing, rather than having a good story, which isn't good. The main issue I see is the text boxes. They aren't really placed right sometimes, and they feel kind of squared. They can be composed a lot better to show better flow and be more appealing to the eye. In storyboarding, paneling, where the eye reads and follows the comic, is key. It is comparable to having good background music in a video. It shouldn't be noticeable because it's just that good. If the flow in your manga, comic, storyboard is distracting or difficult to read, your entire comic is going to suffer. You can have the best art, but if your paneling is bad, your comic won't be readable. That's how important paneling is. I don't consider myself to be a man of faith. But this is my Bible. You can dislike Toriyama, that's fine. But no matter what you say, Dragon Ball made manga so much easier to read. In many pages, he proves this to you. He shows you how to pan over an environment while making it still readable. The action sequences are also just enough to understand what's going on while having amazing panel placement and not overwhelming the viewer with too much information about the fight. It makes the reader's eye flow rather than a mess. Pages 6 through 10 were roughly the same, except this time I have more story developed in my head. But I also dropped my art flow. We introduced the antagonist in page 6 and showed the conflict in page 7. But you can see the obvious drop in quality in pages 7 through 10. I was trying to draw faster and finish this quickly. And this is a good idea. You want to finish more art fast. But it was done very poorly. I'll discuss this more later, so stay for that. But this is not an effective way to do this. 11 through 24, you just see more of this quality drop. The anatomy's off, the figures are poor, some of the panels aren't paneled right. As I was drawing, I was getting more of the story developed in my head, but not how to complete the story. I knew how the fight was gonna end up, but not the in-between of how to get there. This made me mess up small but important details, like the soldier's legs. He's looking like he's taking a seat on the most magnificent throne while sipping on some glorious wine. Pages 23 to 38. At this point, I've been drawing the comic for almost 2 weeks. I knew where I wanted to go and had a decent balance of quality and speed. I still didn't know all the in and outs of paneling and composition for comics, but I did know what to avoid, for the most part. All this is to say, it's still bad.
重症だな、お前ら。
These are not good by professional standards, but by my standards, I got the general feeling at this point. The 40 through 74 panels, or as I like to call them, actually fucking doing it right. All the previous pages have been the embodiment of a stubborn artist taking the slow and painful route instead of learning the basics. So I learned the basics on YouTube like everyone else on how to make manga and comic paneling and videos about fishing. Don't judge me, it's really good. This is where I learned some key or basic concepts like more is less. This is a basic principle in animation and physical media, showing less action to make something seem fast. An example of this could be on page 45 to 46. We can see how we went from cocking back a big punch to an impact instead of actually showing the punch flowing. Overlap. When panels about the same topic bounce off of each other, you can make it kind of like book effect or past present, making a sequence in the pages that can make it easier to read sometimes. An example, this could be on page 54 or 56. Speech bubbles. Previously, I kind of only used them as a cool effect, but they can be used as so much more than that. They can be used as a tool to guide the viewer's eye, acting like another line of flow. So now I know how to avoid conflicting paneling and speech bubbles, how to make something properly readable instead of just a mess. It's an amazing thing. I'm the most proud of these panels, okay? These make me extremely proud of myself. They did two things that made me proud. First thing, I used my paper and time effectively. Remember how I said earlier in the video we would talk about a more efficient way to draw fast with higher quality? Here it is. Draw smaller. Because I made the panels almost 300% smaller, I was able to, one, put my ideas to paper much faster and easier, and two, edit much easier. If there was a mistake, I wouldn't need to erase an entire page or use a new piece of paper. I can just erase that bit or cross it out. Second, I think these panels show the most emotion in the whole storyboard. Granted, they are the majority of the storyboard. In comics, story and emotional appeal are one of the most important things. We can look at One Punch Man as an example of this. If you look at a page of One Punch Man, it looks beautiful, right? Wrong! Search up one manga artist, One Punch Man. Those are the original pages. Wild, right? One Punch Man originally has arguably bad art. Hey, editor here. Yeah, I'm wrong. He's good. Sorry. So why is it so popular? Story, comedy, exposition, and a buffet of side characters. All of these combined allowed us to get the dessert. The redrawn, beautiful art and the animation. First few pages kind of lack this substance, this raw emotion. But at the end, it shined with this emotion. The favorite panel I think shows this the most would be page 63, showing how defeated this amazing warrior who can shine with strength, power, just sit defeated and weak. I already addressed this, but please understand this part of the video. Think about your story. Think of how your character's gonna move if they're doing a flip, how they're gonna move if they're throwing a punch. Think about how they're going to move. Just visualizing this in your head already does wonders for you. Taking this step further, write down your ideas. You think this is a joke? No. Go open a Google Doc and type out your ideas. This will add a higher sense of quality to your drawings, your comic layout, the flow, and how it reads to the common viewer. I made a lot of mistakes making the storyboard. I'm still a beginner. Everything I make is self to critique. But I will be animating and talking about the mistakes I made in a separate video. If you want to see that, like this video. See you later.